All right, guys, it's exciting to have this next man on. After taking the world by storm and quickly becoming one of the rising stars in the UFC's 205 division, he suffered a knee injury that's kept him out of action since UFC Adelaide on December 2nd, 2018. At long last, he now joins us as he makes his long-awaited return over 3 years later. Tyson Pedro, welcome back to Submission Radio. How are you, man? It's good to see you.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, that's a long time. Is there like a record for longest time between fights? Surely it's got to be out there.
You need Mike Bond for that. We're not statisticians, Tyson, but I think you're knocking on the door. I remember we spoke to you at one point. You were around the corner, and then it didn't quite happen, right, Dennis?
Yeah, Mike Bond's got a cold chill down the back of his spine right now, and he's like, "What's going on? What's going on, Lassie? Someone's at the well, you know." But we'll get Mike Bond onto it for you. But listen, man, it's been a long time. There's no doubt about that, and it's crazy to think that was your last fight, man. UFC Adelaide. How surreal is it now that you're actually about to finally kick off another official UFC fight week?
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like nothing's like I haven't missed anything. Like Vegas has changed a bit, but I guess because of COVID, like it wasn't too bad because everything sort of stopped for those 2 years. So I guess it could have been a lot worse. But I'm just excited to be back in there, man. It's been way too long. I'm ready to get punched in the face again.
Awesome. No, it's so good to see you, man. Before we get into the fight, let's go back. For fans that may not know, you dealt with a bad knee injury that happened in the Shogun fight back in 2018. You had the knee reconstruction, and then you were scheduled to fight in 2020 at UFC New Zealand. I think we spoke sort of shortly before that.
Yeah.
And that was headlined, of course, by Dan Hooker and Paul Felder. So what exactly happened on your way back to your first planned return?
Yeah, so I didn't know Australia's like a pretty... it's common to get the hamstring, but for some reason in contact sports you're supposed to do patella. So I had the hamstring, and when I went to New Zealand, Carlos Ulberg, actually, thanks for that, Carlos. He went for a leg trip, and it just twisted the wrong way, and I did the meniscus. So went checked that in. They fixed the meniscus, and then I saw another surgeon. Again, I saw actually Andrew Fafita was the one he got me to see his physio, Pete, and they sent me to this surgeon that all the Sharks players go to, and he goes, "Man, that hamstring hasn't even been put in the right in the tunnel properly." So
what?
Wow.
Yeah. So it was pulling the wrong way when the hamstring. So he goes, "You can either do a loop lace, which will be stronger, but it could go again in the fight, or you can start from scratch." And honestly, that was one of the hardest decisions I had to make in a long time, because I was about a year and a half into recovery at that stage. So for them to go, "Oh, do you want to start from scratch again?" And for your second one, ACL, you have to do minimum 12 months. The first one's 9 months. The second one's minimum 12 months, because the return to sport, I think, is like 10% chance after if you have a third one. So you have to pretty much get the second one right.
Who did your surgery? Dr. Nick Rivera or something?
Hi, everybody.
I don't even want to say, because
Jeez,
there's a couple of footy players that got the same had the same surgeon, and they've had a couple of repeats of surgery as well.
Oh,
but it's good. It's done now, and it's strong. It's as strong as it was beforehand. It is what it is.
Yeah, obviously I can't relate to what you've been through, but like I've got a torn labrum in my hip, and I got to get surgery in a couple of weeks, and it's just been like 2 years of chronic back pain.
I thought you were going to say I sprained my finger or something.
I don't know what you've been through, Tyson, but I stubbed my toe the other day, and let me tell you, you don't know what pain is, mate. No, but I was going to say, like, I know the feeling of like you think you're getting better, you see a specialist, and then it's like, oh no, whatever that guy said, throw that out the window. So I just wonder, like, when you got faced with such an incredible dilemma of like, all right, you can start fresh, how long did it take you to actually make that decision? Like, I imagine it wasn't like a 5-minute thing.
About a week, so that time went slow. But no, I consulted with like close friends. I was my wife, my family. Some of my family even said retire. Man, it was people close to me saying to give it up. So, Yeah, it was rough, and that was definitely a roller coaster. But I think it would have had to have been, I think, a month, at least a month or 2 months before I just finally made the call and just went, you know what, I'm going to do it. Make sure it's strong, make sure it's right. So, but looking back, it was the best decision I could have made. So I'm happy I did.
What? And just to, not to beat a dead horse, but like, what were some of the things that you also considered? Because it's like, you can't just be like, all right, I'll do it and it'll take time. It's like, this is your career. And like, I don't know what your financial situation is. Like, there's so many things that you have to weigh up. Like, you've got a family. So what were some of the big things that you were, considering? And also, how did it feel when, some people close to you were saying, hey man, maybe you should give it up?
Yeah, right. That's hard, especially hearing from people close to you. But I knew I was always going to be back here. Financially, definitely. Luckily, I had some good sponsors. Absolute worst case scenario, I've got good lips. So I heard the male prostitution market is good.
It is.
But there's I'd never let my family go without. I would have been back working if I needed to. But luckily, good sponsors. I got to start a couple of businesses. And everything's still, as bad as everything felt like it was, everything's felt like it pretty much fell into place. So, and everything's worked out for the better because of how everything worked out.
Well, $20 is $20, Tyson. So we understand 100%. Where you're coming. Understand where you come from. 100%. Look, this is a crazy thing, right? Last time you fought, you were 26 years old. Now as you return, you've got a new daughter. You've overcome adversity. How different is this Tyson Pedro that steps into the cage this weekend compared to the one that left it in Adelaide in 2018?
Man, I've just got tingles when you said it because like mentally, physically, I'm completely different. I actually, this whole camp, I'm completely different from the beginning of this camp. For the last 10 weeks, I've changed. But in 4 years, I'm not even close to the same person. So, and I still feel like I'm young. So for some reason, as soon as you hit 30, everyone thinks you're an old man, but I still feel like I'm 18. But yeah, being a father as well, that was scary. That scared the shit out of me. For the first couple months, I think I was getting like 1 or 2 hours sleep, still having to do the 5 a.m. training sessions. And I just told my wife, I was like, fuck, I can't do this, eh? It was now after the 3 months, the baby got settled back into the routine, and honestly, I think that's been the hardest part of this whole thing. Being away from my daughter for so long, it's been close to about 3 months. Obviously, I got to see her like once or twice in that. I got to see her just before I came to Vegas for an hour, but that's been the hardest part, I think.
Well, I was gonna say, Tyson, I had a newborn as well. And I went through the same thing as you. And I just want to bring it up because when it was happening to me, like no one ever said like, hey, man, like life's going to kind of suck for you for a few months. Like you're not going to sleep.
Like,
everything. Me and Casper doing interviews at 7 a.m. and I don't even know who I'm speaking to half of the time. Yeah. And it's like, from a father's perspective, it's actually like, it's a lot more challenging than anyone ever says anything about. It took me some time, man. It was actually very mentally challenging. It was tough mentally for me to get used to that.
No, 100%. And the first few months, like, especially that you just leave the hospital and they give you this like human being.
Yeah.
Here you go. You'll be right.
And they say you're doing everything wrong when you're in the hospital. So you're like, what the hell am I going to do when I get out of it?
Yeah. So like, and you know how it is then, like the first couple days you don't even let go of the baby because you're just so scared and like can I put the baby down and then eventually like you're throwing them around and you just get comfortable, but it's at first it was just all scary. You just got no idea what you're doing.
Yeah, well, at the same time, that's also the reason why you're doing all of this. And I was going to ask you, like, what was some of the biggest things that you learned about yourself in camp? You mentioned that you're very different compared to the start of the camp. And this one would have been pretty crucial for you, right? Because this one is the first one back at like 100%. So it would have been like, I don't know, fun's the way to describe it, but like kind of a learning experience. You're kind of like, all right, let's see what I can do.
Yeah, I'm not sure fun was the word.
No, definitely not the word.
It was pretty torturous. Like you can imagine that this being such a long time off, I pushed myself pretty hard in this camp. I think I was just more on the money with everything this camp. Like I was just laser focused. Everything from journaling to reading to studying to just fight IQ things. My diet. This is the first time I've had to cut weight, so that's being strict on my diet. Like normally I'll drink beer and eat normal food in a camp, but this one
really up until
sure.
How long?
Last couple of camps, I think I was still drank like 2 weeks out.
That's awesome.
And now you've got your own beer, and you just
Who are you, John Jones? My God.
Honestly, once it's because I have my own beer that I think I've slowed right down. You can imagine when I wasn't fighting, I think we drank a lot into the profits at first. And now Tai has gladly taken over that role. So I'll take a step back from that. But yeah, camp has just been perfect. Just enjoying every single detail about fighting, and I can feel that as soon as this fight's over, I just want to get straight back there, straight back into camp. Yeah, so I've had enough time to party and lay off. It's time to get. Yeah, like I've said, my daughter, Daddy's got to get paid.
Yeah. I say that to my girlfriend every day. Daddy's got to get paid. But speaking of getting paid, health is wealth. And nothing is more important. Well, actually, a few things are, but it's pretty up high on the list of importance to stay young, stay fresh, and not let your skin make you look like an old leathery glove. Which is why you got to take care of it now before aging sets in. Our good friends at Manscaped have got a whole bunch of premium, products for your body wash and shower routine. Starting off with the premium body wash. Which is very, very good for your skin. It smells fantastic. And then if you move up, maybe you do your hair first. I don't know, but I like to do the body first and the hair second. So you got the 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, making you fresh and clean. And then when you get out of the shower, water actually does dehydrate you. If you're like me and take 6,000 showers because you're masturbating all the time, you need some hydrating body spray. So you need some hydrating body spray to keep yourself nice and supple. And then when you get out, you finish off with the Manscaped deodorant. Smells fantastic. And then don't have those chapped lips. Have beautiful lips like Tyson Pedro. And with the Manscaped lip balm, you get 3 lip balms in one packet, helping you look young, youthful, and sexy. Isn't that right, Dennis?
That's right, Cass. And with the code word submission, you guys can get 20% off your Manscaped plus free shipping. That's 20% off plus free shipping. Do it today and change your life forever. And Cass, speaking of changing your life, this UFC card that we just went down, we saw Vicente Luque and Bilal Muhammad go down just this past weekend. But there's some big fights coming up right around the corner that you guys can make some serious cash on with our friends at MyBookie. I'm just having a look right here. I mean, you've got Jiri versus Glover to share at UFC 274. That's a -180 for Jiri, +150 for Glover. What about Justin Gaethje versus Charles Oliveira? Which way are you guys leaning there? You got Justin at +120, Charles at -150. Or what about if you look forward even further? These guys have odds for all sorts of different things. Possible future fights, Colby Covington, Dustin Poirier. That's out already at MyBookie. Colby Covington -500, Dustin Poirier +300. All the bets, all the things you guys want to put down money on. MyBookie is your place for it. Use the code word submission. Double your first deposit with the code word submission. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with our friends at MyBookie, Cass.
Yeah, that's all right. And just lastly, when you're watching those fights, don't get caught out. Don't be attracting any spicy viruses. It's the last thing your computer needs. Or even if you're just browsing other kinds of spicy websites, make sure you're protected with NordVPN. They're throwing in the threat protection so you can browse to your heart's content. They have other phenomenal features that I use all the time, such as changing your geolocation so that when I'm watching Netflix, I'm in Australia, but I want to watch Netflix America or Netflix Canada or Netflix UK so that I get access to all of their TV shows. And the same applies to other streaming platforms like Disney Plus or Hulu or Binge or Stan or whatever you want to watch. In fact, I've cut out half my streaming services because I don't need them anymore. I use NordVPN, I change my geolocation, and Netflix has almost everything these days, and I can watch pretty much all of it thanks to NordVPN. And the best thing is no bandwidth throttling, no buffering, so I can watch everything in my pristine, optimal internet connection as it should be, unlike other VPNs that I've used in the past, which, slow down, stuff's buffering for 6,000 years. None of that with NordVPN, the best VPN in the world, isn't that
right? That's right, man. NordVPN.com/submission. That's NordVPN.com/submission, or the link in the description below will get you a huge discount off your NordVPN plan. Plus, you get the threat protection for free, plus 1 additional month for free. It's completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee, so jump on it today and change your browsing experience forever. But Tyson, it's interesting because when you were fighting actively, every time you fought, we saw improvements every time you went out there and performed in the UFC. Now we haven't seen you in such a long time. Like, if people expect the Tyson Pedro that they last saw, are they going to be shocked compared to what they're going to see in this 2.0 version? I mean, you would have had time to work on so many different aspects of the game going into this return.
Honestly, I'm not sure what they'll see this fight. I'm not even sure what I'll see this fight. Like, I'm going out there just to. I'm not trying to make a statement or anything this fight. I just need to get back in the into the octagon, give a perfect performance, and let anyone derive what they're going to from that. But this one's more about just getting the job done. I think it's been too long off. I just need to get. That's not time to make a statement or anything. It's just time to be back fighting.
That makes sense. And you know what? I appreciate the honesty. Sometimes people try and sell the fight, it just comes off fake, but you're absolutely right. Like, this is about seeing what you can do, and sort of, the story here is your return and not really anything else. But out of curiosity, what do you think of your opponent? What do you think of Villanueva, being the person that you come back and return against?
Yeah, tactically, strategically, it's a good fight for me. It's been, it was like how this camp worked out was just perfect as well. I started in Dubai with Tai, and his fight got pushed forward. My fight got pushed back. So I went back to Australia, and obviously the boys from CKB got stuck in Sydney. So Eugene was able to break down the fight for me, just to show me what I needed to work on during the camp. They were there for 2 weeks, sparred with Carlos. So there's for me, it's a strategically good fight. I get to come in and show my fight IQ's increased. So, it's perfect fight.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. Yeah, you were training with the boys from CKB, and was that you were over in New Zealand, right? And then were you over with Alex over at Freestyle as well, training there as well? Yeah. What was that experience?
It's been a long camp. It's been a long camp.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. What was that? You're like Rocky when he's getting ready for Drago. You're like running through the mountains in the Russian. Or tell me, like, how was that experience working out with those guys and getting ready with those guys? It's always interesting for us to ask, just because it's such an interesting team dynamic. It's like one of those teams that stick together no matter where you guys go. You guys work out together. What was it like?
Yeah, well, it was obviously. So I was started in New Zealand, and then I had to bounce back to Australia when COVID hit again, and then we couldn't get back in there. So that's why it was lucky they got stuck in Australia. But then we went to freestyle, and there's no bigger guys in Sydney. So I'd been going to freestyle to work on some of the wall work stuff. That's what Alex is the king at, and Joe Lopez. So we were going over some of the wall drills, but everyone's a midget there. Sorry.
Tyson Pedro cancelled.
It was just like you obviously you're learning doing all the drills, but it was just hard to get the good bodies. That's why I finished the camp up in Combat in Queensland with Glenn Sparv and the tougher boys in Combat Training Facility. It was good. So it all, and again, it just all worked out perfectly, as jumpy as it thought, because it was a bit stressful at first when I couldn't get into New Zealand. I was like, man, that was who I planned to come back in the camp with, do the fight camp right, and then to find out I couldn't go there, then I'm working out all these, like I'm in Dubai, that cost a fortune, so that was pretty much most of the camp funds, and then I've just been working it out on the fly.
Jesus, what a schedule, man. Like, this is why I like chatting about this stuff, because people get a glimpse of what goes into, preparation for, such a fight. But of course, I'm sure you'll make all the money back with Drink West, the premier
100%.
beer. I mean, we have to ask, obviously you and Ty are two of the directors at Drink West, and it's exciting times because you guys are actually giving people an opportunity to potentially invest and help build a new brewing facility. The previous one is at capacity. You need an even bigger one. What a great problem to have if you're a business owner. Just break it down for us, Tyson.
Yeah, so this is just actually going crazy. obviously since the Shannon Noll ad, which was genius. If there's one thing Ty's good at, it's marketing.
Oh, is that Ty's idea?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh,
So
that's
I'm not taking any credit for that. Since then it's just blown up. Luckily, now it's we might even have to cap the investing. So everything's going well for that, and yes, it's just going to be a big year. And I don't think Las Vegas is ready for it because we just got a new thing come out. I might as well show you. So I was going to surprise Las Vegas, but a picture of that. The Drink West Budgie Smugglers.
Nice.
And the cowboy hat at the pool party. So that's me.
So that's your official outfit.
That's
those two things and only those two things.
Vegas after pool party. So we'll see how that goes down.
Wow, tickets selling quick to that party. Hey, by the way, man,
I might get a run on the Magic Mike show that's playing.
Is that Tyson Pedro with the lips?
I just want to see a video of your dad's reaction to this party. I know you've been putting up some epic videos of him during fight camp and during fight week. I want to see his reaction. And by the way, man, Nollsy joined you in that epic video with Ty and Nathan Cleary and the whole crew singing together for the last commercial you were talking about. Surely you're walking out to What About Me this weekend. Sure.
I was going to, but I think I really didn't care about the songs at the Apex with no crowd, so I don't know. I usually want to get a good song to pump up the crowd. It's not going to pump up 5 people.
Yeah, I feel like a live show in Australia when you guys do come back here
that's what I mean.
Next year. This is
like that. Yeah.
Oh, mate,
they won't appreciate it at the Apex.
Forget the Conor McGregor entrances. We just want Shannon Noll just standing there in the middle of the octagon.
100%.
Awesome.
It'll be hectic.
Even if you don't go crazy with the entrance music, you'll capture their attention where you wear the budgie smugglers and the cowboy hat as you walk out, right?
Bang bang Tyson. Bang bang Tyson.
Honestly, I would fight in them if I could. If it was socially acceptable, I'd wear budgie smugglers everywhere, but it's frowned upon, like masturbating on an airplane.
I don't understand what the problem with the airplane one is. What, they told you off this time? Me and Casper should get away with it.
This damn world that we live in.
You got to go to the bathroom, apparently. You're not allowed just to do it in the aisle anymore.
That probably affects it.
Apparently it's a COVID regulation. I don't understand.
You have to wear your mask.
Yeah, that's right. No friendly fire. Guys, make sure to follow Tyson Pedro on Instagram and Twitter at Tyson_Pedro and check out Engage for his latest return tee and get involved in Drink West at... Where's the website? Virtual.com/company/drinkwest. Tyson, appreciate the time, man. Can't wait to see you make that walk in your massive return fight. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me, gents. Take care.